All right. Hello all. Welcome to Monday Night Inking. I'm going to be hopping over to the Cthulhu piece in a bit, but I was in the middle of this and it seemed like it would be fun to continue and show this process as well. I know there's nobody on yet, so oh my, they're all hopping in. Hello. Hello everybody. All right. So I am going to be working on first here some cool spatter effects. I need to have like speeding lights across this sort of dark void. So what I'm going to do is sort of the lightsaber effect, create a lot of white spatter for a very soft glow, which is what I did on this side, if you can see that. It's a little out of focus, but sorry about that. Tilt this a little bit more for you guys. There, that should be a little bit better. So let me see. I'm gonna take my white ink and one of my spatter toothbrushes here. For dry spatter, I find that the flat toothbrush works really, really well. Hey, Bueller! Always good to see you in here, sir. We did our signing for the Knock 'em Dead variant cover this past Saturday, and I was very happy with how the printing turned out. I have a few of my own that Aftershock sent me, and I sold 2 of them today just over Instagram, so it was really great. I hope you did well with it as well. All right, let's see. Make sure this is... And then just go along the edge and create that soft glow. I'm really just spattering this mainly. You just want sort of the fallout of the spatter. It's not very clean, it's sort of gray. It'll still treat out white, but it's not the prettiest right now. All right, let me clean this a tiny bit more. The problem might be that I'm trying to clean it in this water. What do you think? Can't possibly be a logical explanation like that. All right, clean off that edge. So I believe I enabled them properly, but, oh wait, Bueller's talking. He said, I sold everyone. Thank you, Clara, for making a great cover that sells itself. Well, you're very welcome. It was my pleasure. How cool to hear that. I'm so glad you were able to pull that off. That is so cool. I was happy to be involved. All right, let me try this again. With a fresh dip of white in here. There we go. That's looking clean. So I believe I enabled them correctly, but Instagram just rolled out badges, which is a way to like tip in live stream like they do on like Twitch and TikTok and other live streaming services. I really don't have any idea how it works. I read up on it a little and it said like the highest one you can get is I think like $4.99, so I doubt I'd ever make much from it, and I certainly don't want to sound like I'm begging, but I did implement that feature, and I'm curious to see how well it goes over with the whole platform. That's not looking very strong. I guess I can always do more later. I'll do a tiny bit more now, just with some stronger white. All right, let me rinse this once properly. Yeah, Wheeler's here. Okay, the toothbrush is much cleaner now. Let's try one more time. And then I promise we will move to something fun and interesting. Like Lovecraftian beasts. Okay, once more. That's cleaner. There we go. It was too juicy last time. It soaked right in. Okay. So I'm gonna take this off and let it dry. Yeah, it's too much, but I go back over it with black to thin it out. I don't know if you can see this, but like I did the same on this side, and it goes too far just because of how the toothbrush works, just the regular spread of it. So I went back over with black, you can see the residuals here, to sort of thin it out. So that's how you get this sort of better spread on this side. And we'll be getting something similar on that side as well. And I think I did one side of one of the other ones, these light streaks. Yeah, there's that one as well. So we'll make that happen too. So this is fun. This is one of the things you wouldn't think is like work intensive. And it's not super intensive, but a lot of steps do go into it. And it's really fun to come up with ways to design non-character elements like this. Wheeler says, I've seen more pictures of you in the last 2 weeks than the last couple of years. Oh, you mean the two things I posted, the two videos I posted that featured my human face? Yeah, that might be the case. All right. Now this is still underway, so please don't judge it yet. But we have here my John Wick versus Cthulhu commission. And I'm going to be working on some of these foreground monsters here. So hopefully that's fun. Do I need to clean anything up over there before I go? No, it's fine. It's all good. I need all these things anyway. Art of Alexi, hello. I'm going to move this so I can see you all better. There. Okay. Did the wrong thing, sorry. Okay. Human Seeking Truth says, that's awesome, amazing work. Thank you. That's very kind of you. All right. I'm working on this guy, so I need to be down here. Yeah, anyway, I got a new phone arm. So basically I'm trying to figure out how to use it and how it differs from my old one. If I put the clamps in the wrong place on the phone, it does that emergency shutdown thing. Freegot 45 asks, is this a commission or future print? I mean, possibly both. It is a commission. I don't know what the restrictions are on taking those things to print, but we shall see. My biggest commission yet. All right, so I guess I'm going to just start with the containment line on this guy up here. A lot of him is over black, so I don't have to worry about some of that. But let me start with this tentacle. My mom asked me what I was going to be inking on live stream tonight. And she knew I got this commission. This is one of the first ones I got from Comic-Con Art Online, my new art dealer. And I was very excited telling her about this cool commission I'd got. And she asked what I was going to be working on tonight. I said I'm going to be working on that that Cthulhu piece. And she said she's a librarian, so she knows sort of what's popular, what flies off the shelves. And she was saying how she knows Lovecraft mythos is popular, but she doesn't know anything about it. And I told her she probably wouldn't like it. She likes nice things. She likes nice, kind things. But it gave me a little chuckle. So yeah, I tried to give all the monsters different textures. Something you want to do is separate your textures. I got distracted by Human Seeking Truth says, is this kind of a crossover between John Wick and Constantine, both Keanu Reeves movie characters? They are very similar characters. I mean, he mostly plays kind of the same character these days. They found his niche, and I'm happy for him. I saw a theory on Facebook. Somebody posted on Facebook. They had a theory that all Keanu Reeves roles were just like subroutines in the Matrix that Neo was trapped in. And it's a great great theory. I love it as like headcanon, but it also makes me really sad. But I can definitely see John Wick being something Neo would dream. Get a big, strong line there. I mean, honestly, it's going to be on black. I might do a rim light on it, like I did a rim light on this one down here. In fact, let me fill in this one. I was talking about the textures. All right, hold on. I'll get back to the textures in just a second here. I started this new brush pen today, and I don't like it very much. I mean, it's the same kind, but like there's slight variations of quality from one to another. They're not like made to incredibly specific specifications. Art of Alexi says both their names are John. Yeah, that's always made me laugh about him. Like he's had a real bland set of character names, hasn't he? No offense to all those of you named John. John is a perfectly good name, but when you're named John so many times in a row, and this is a person whose real life name is like not a name anyone has ever heard before. He has like such a elaborate, ethnic name and heritage for that matter, and somehow he ended up playing all these John characters. That always made me laugh. Human Seeking Truth says, I love the detail you put into each creature. Thank you. Well, it's very important. I mean, this is an expensive commission. I gotta get it right. Gotta do my job. Let's see, this one goes all the way up here. Yeah, I had a debate when I was, first composing this. I love this little guy here who's just like been so very shot in the head. He's completely done for. I need to do more spatter around here. All of this is going to have so much spatter. But I started doing the flame texture, and those are coming nicely. I'll just sort of build them as I go. The request was, like, I loved the request, don't get me wrong. I missed if the client who commissioned this piece is actually in here. I don't remember. He's in a lot of these, but I did not mind this about the request, but it kind of made me chuckle again. I said chuckle a lot this stream. I'm like a weird old grandma. The request was that there be fire involved, that this is in Relay where Cthulhu lives, that it be burning. And like, if you know the mythos, Relay is an underwater city. So I had to sort of split the difference and be like, well, okay, so they're just sort of standing in water. Is that good enough? Hopefully it works out. Hopefully it's satisfactory to everyone. I'm just being a pedantic nerd at that point. It's like, well, actually, the city of Relay is submerged. Dead Cthulhu lies dreaming. Let's see. MNKG, you God. Waves hello, says, artwork is amazing, Miss Clara. Thank you. It's less than halfway done, so I will take that compliment at this stage. I was talking about textures. That's right. Okay. So this guy has got that sort of nubbly texture. That's going to be fun in ink. This guy is really slimy. He's got all those little highlight pops, and like all his shadow spots are like little oil slicks. So he's got a real slimy texture. And this guy has like a more conventional sort of lizardy, scaly texture. And actually, I don't know what went on with this guy, because you can't even see, you don't see his face or anything. He's just sort of this tentacled thing on the side. But I'm giving him sort of another sort of goopy texture. And Cthulhu himself has a lot of detail going on in the head, but otherwise just sort of rough looking skin with the water streaming off. That's an interesting distance challenge to get the water streaming off for something that large, because you can't draw drops. That would make him too small. Like these drops on John are already technically too big. They're just sort of stylized. If you're going to have water streaming off him, you have to do it in just sort of like down rendering. So we'll see how well that works out. That's all theoretical. Human Seeking Truth says sort of like an underwater volcano. I guess I did my best. We'll see how it goes. All right, gonna finish this. I'll finish this rock here. Cast a nice shadow on here. The nice thing about the fire is that I can say this is basically the light source. And there's going to be nice glow spatter coming off from this torch, just like I was showing you before, like a nice dry glow spatter, so it'll really feel like glowing light. Some of it will come down here over John, so it'll be like a real strong glow. So that'll really help emphasize the sense of darkness. That's what I was doing here. I was doing this rock. Don't want the rock to be the same texture as the creature. Put some drippy drops there. A piece like this has so many stages. A piece like this, the main bulk of the work, of the detailing, of the interesting part is going to be like the last 5 or 10%, honestly. And I'm just sort of like fine-tuning everything real specifically. And sometimes in a much simpler piece, you don't have to do that. You can sort of fine-tune as you go. But in a piece like this, you really want to get like all your information laid in first, and then go back and just sort of deal with more of the fine-tuning stuff. And what Zach told me was that especially when working with a very prominent background, midground, and foreground, you start with the midground, and that establishes your line weight ratios for the foreground and the background. He said I had some concerns about how I was going to handle the distance and size of Cthulhu here. And what he said is if I do the midground and foreground first, that will pretty much clarify how I need to handle the background. So I'm interested to see how that goes. But I'm going to keep detailing this little tentacle. And this kind of detail is like, once your hand finds the gesture, you just kind of do it over and over. House 8 in the house. House 8 bought one of my variant covers for Knock 'em Dead earlier today. I appreciate that. You were one of 2. So yeah, you see you got that kind of nubbly texture on there. Human Seeking Truth says, do you look at images for research before you draw? Yes and no. A lot of times, yes. Some things I have an established approach for, like the fire, for example. I looked more at my own previous work where I'd drawn fire, because some things are just, they work for you if you're doing it in your style, but they don't work as much if you try to do them really realistically, if that makes sense. So this is one of the things I was self-referencing. But there are definitely things you look up either before or during the drawing of them. If you understand it pretty much well enough, you don't have to look it up until you're actually working on it. But if you're not sure what you're doing, you'd probably do a study first, like a practice drawing, before even including something in a composition, because you really don't want to end up, in a situation having to draw something you don't really know how to draw. At least not in my position. I know people who are good enough that they can pull that off and learn as they go. And I'm getting there, but if I was really uncertain about something first, I would research it first. But research is sort of ongoing. It's something you're always doing. You're always sort of trying to up your game and learn new things. And honestly, the way the brain works, at least mine, I wouldn't work into a composition something I knew I didn't have any idea how to draw, if that makes sense. I wouldn't have done fire and water if I really didn't think I could do it. In this case, obviously it was requested as part of the commission, so I had to, but if it were up to me, I probably would have avoided that. And honestly, probably would have found a way to avoid it if I wanted to anyway, because I'm a lazy butt. But fortunately, I had a working system for both fire and water. So I was able to employ them both with not too much trouble, I think. But that's a very long answer to a very simple question. It's yes, we do a lot of research for drawing. Just not always in the immediate moment. Glover RP, hello. Might have been just talking about you. I'm texturing this tentacled, about to be dead guy. He has a bullet coming out of the back of his squishy head. Anytime I get to draw exit wounds, let me tell you. I was actually quite proud of this. You see that? That's like so much gooier than a human exit wound too. Had to really lean into the squishiness of all these monsters. Man, it's warm in here. It must be adrenaline that I get so warm during live stream. Oh, that's the wrong direction. Might be able to fix it. I think I'm fixing that. All right, hold on. I need to take my hoodie off. Need to lose a layer. All right, back at it. Hey, David. All right, y'all have been patient enough. I'm going to work on this face here. This is where the containment line gets heavier. And you got to think about not just the weight of the containment line, but where the light is. Because you want to break it somewhat facing the light. If that makes sense. Regot says, biggest commission, by biggest commission, do you mean by dimensions? No, I mean by the cash money associated with it. This is the most I've ever, well, I'm going to be paid, but I've ever made on a single piece. I'm getting paid more for this than I get paid for a comic book cover. Which is not that unusual when you know how comics work, which is really nothing pays very much at all. Unfortunately. Glover says, I'm trying to think of something funny or just do, please. Oh, well, it's not done yet. Don't count your eggs yet. Got a ways to go on this little puppy. But I'm having a blast, so thank you. Firehawk. Firehawk's been pretty cool. Let's see. The shadows on the face. I'm getting carried away with these shadows, even though I should be doing containment lines. Stop it. Stop it. All right. Regot says, congratulations. That is awesome. Thank you. Firehawk says, hope you are doing well this evening. I am. I'm very warm, but otherwise I'm good. I overheat every time I live stream. I think it's one of those things that makes me more nervous than I feel at the moment. You know, you ever get done doing something and realize wow, I was super tense that whole time. Let's see. Go a little bit of undershadow there to give it some dimension. Firehawk says, change of pace from the Space Lady and Nanites. Yeah, my dude, we are always working on 500 separate things. Don't worry, I was working on the Space Lady earlier. Entirely too many things at once. But now it's all good. This past Sunday afternoon, I sat down and made myself like a hardcore budget. I'm trying to save for a new laptop. And after that, trying to figure out how to get my student debt paid off extra fast. And I was actually pretty proud of what I came up with budget-wise. But it's going to be snug here for a few years. What can I say? I chose a non-paying career. I like it though. I'm happy. Never thought I'd hear myself talking about being satisfied with my own self-designed budget though. I'm an old person now, you guys. I've become an old person. Go. Oops, sorry. Keep hitting it with my glasses. This new phone arm is much steadier. It's metal and actually has joints as opposed to my old one, which was just like adjustable plastic, so it would wobble. So this one is much more reliable. But it hasn't stopped me from hitting it with my head. Okay, so the fire, I'm gonna break the containment line where the fire makes contact and just sort of do a broken up light version of it through here. Just enough to maintain it. It's tricky because it's a heavy line weight there. Human Seeking Truth says, hi, I think I heard your whole answer to my question, but my internet cut out. Sorry. I mean, no, I think if it's the part that ended with me saying like yes, like the short answer is yes, then I believe you got all of it. Yeah, we do a lot of research. Whether or not we have to visually research something depends on how familiar we are with it to begin with, basically, I think is the short recap. Firehawk says, budgeting is hard when I need to get an original Clara Meath comic art page. Oh, thank you. It's hard for me too. And Human Seeking Truth says, love your art, gotta go, hope you have a great night. You have a great night too. Good talking to you. Hope to see you next time as well. All right, so this side of the creature is in almost complete shadow, but we are going to get a little rim lighting on the tentacles that are sort of streaming back. Mashed Potato Draws joined. That's a wonderful name. I admire all your creative usernames. Mine's just my own name. I just got, let's use my name. Okay. And I can always go back in with the Posca and do some like negative spots in there to help really sort of blend that curve. But for now, it's totally sufficient. Let's let here be a shadow for the edge of that wing coming out there. There's going to be like spray lines and spatter here. This whole wound is going to be all juicy. It's going to be awesome. Let's get this side as well. this way. Oh, it's almost 6:30 already. Wow. I'm booking it through here. I'm always horrified how fast the time goes when I'm working. I mean, they say time flies when you're having fun, but time also flies when you really don't want it to. That's the other time it really flies, when you got stuff to get done. Okay. Let me get in the containment line for this wing here. Just because that's going to be a big one. We want to get that one out of the way. I don't know if I can even get it with this tool. Get at least the outside of it. Oh, you see that tiny note right there? It says halo. I left myself a note to remember to halo this part of the wing, to sort of pop it forward because it's coming further forward, and that will help it to read. Probably needs to be heavier than this, but this is just the first pass. There we go. Oh my God, it says congrats on making the budget. Thank you. Yes, I feel like a real grown-up. And it is really one of those things that gives you a lot of freedom, even though it doesn't feel like it. It feels counterintuitive. But, you realize that you know exactly how much you can spend. Then you don't have to worry about it. I'm still going to find a way to worry, of course. There's always a way to worry about money, right? All right, I can build this up a little bit. Probably just should have switched to a different tool, but I'm halfway through it now. Okay. The loop of the wing here, the filament. This is another thing that's tricky to decide, because like the filament part of the wing here is obviously very thin. That's like the the bat wing part. But it's also in the extreme foreground, which would make it technically a very heavy line. So you gotta decide what you're gonna do, how you're gonna handle that. So I think I'm gonna just sort of go with a medium line, which compared to this line, especially when we have an inside of it. Let me do the inside of it now. Will hopefully bring to prominence the idea that it's a thin filament, but we'll see. Inks are nowhere near as permanent as you think they are. Okay, let's see if we can work with that for now. Looking decent. Get heavy again with this next rib. A little fold there. I just got an email alert for the Lovecraft podcast I listened to. Sweet serendipity. Oops, out of frame there. Sorry about that. Andrew J. Brown. Hey, hey. Good to see ya. And again, we're just sort of gonna break up the line as it appears through the fire. That's not through the fire, that's regular, so we'll just do that. And we might also sponge around it. We might do the same texture in white to sort of create a glow around there. That might be too much information, but we'll see when we get there. It's just a slow build up. Okay, so we got that part of the wing. Andrew says that thumb is so spattered. Yes, it very much is. It's not even mine anymore. The thumb looks like C3PO. Glower RP says it's a Shoggoth. They are protoplasmic and variable, indeed. All bubbly and gross. You know all the proper quotes. Oh, Joey X Teeth. I expect only the best questions from you now, Joey. You have trapped yourself. Let's see. So we got a cast shadow here from this guy. So it needs to be a little bit nubbly as it wraps around. Oh, other way. This is the shadow of the wing. You all can see that. Why am I explaining that? Excellent. All right. I think, well, I can fill in these blacks anytime. Let me work on this wound. Hold on. You all know how this goes. I can never just settle on one thing. Let me work on these teeth, and then I'll do the wound. Gross, sharp, pointy teeth. Yeah, like just like with the textures, I try to give them all very different mouths. They all look like they're singing. It's a beautiful choir of unspeakable horrors. Just gurgling their dark rites. Now I can't unsee it as them all singing. Oh. Andrew says that a dress kerfuffle was funny. I hope you aren't too upset about it. No, I just felt really bad. Like in retrospect, it was just really stupid that I forgot like half of the address and they had to ship it all the way back to me. But I was able to reship it without paying for it again. So that worked out. That's what I get for not paying attention to what I'm doing. But I very much appreciated your purchase. So hopefully it gets to you in record time now to make up for that lost time. There we go. Nope, I promised I would move to the wound. I'm going to just finish the teeth. See, I can keep my word, y'all. Now we're getting like submissions on what these guys are all singing together. That's funny. But all like sounding really gurgly. I've been thinking a lot about the thing on the doorstep lately. That might be, well, I mean, I can't really choose my favorite Lovecraft story, but that one is so creepy. Just the slow build on it. And the way you have to know the mythos from the other stories to understand what's happening was very, very ballsy on Lovecraft's part, I thought. Let's see. All right, going to this gross wound. This is when you just start. Let's see. I want to leave this inner part here uncolored to sort of communicate the brightness of the bullet coming through, like the hotness of it. It wouldn't actually do that in real life, because you know this is a completely feasible scenario. But visually, I think that'll come across well. And just do timid line weight at first. Some of this. We're also going to accent this with some juicy spatter, so that'll help. Andrew, you bought a badge! Oh, you're the first one! Thank you! I just set that up this afternoon. I had no idea if anyone was going to do anything. That's so cool! Y'all, I just made money on Instagram. Oh, it's a great day. I'm so happy they rolled that out. Like, it makes perfect sense. You know, any other live stream feature or platform, you can, like, there's like a tip feature. You can do it on TikTok and you can do it on Twitch and everything. So why not over here? I'm really glad they rolled that out. That's very exciting. I'm very optimistic about it. Well, thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that so much. What was I doing? I was being all bubbly. Okay, there we go. I was doing this disgusting gunshot wound on this squishy monster head that definitely doesn't even have a skull in it. Just octopus bag head. Be sure to render these so that the light source is clearly the center of the gunshot. Joey Teeth bought a badge! Oh my gosh, you guys! You're absolutely making my night. This is incredible. I was sure it would be like months before people picked up on that and started using those things. And I was like, can't hurt. I turned them on like right before starting today. Like, I'm not even kidding. I just put in the info to enable those. Oh man, you guys are the best. I'm so excited. This is phenomenal. Now there's a little number on my screen that says how much money I just made, and I feel so touched, you guys. Well, that will help me with the budget I've been whining about. Now, how about that? Hold on, I have to plug in. My phone's gonna start falling asleep. I have this real problem that I use my phone all day, like with YouTube and podcasts and all that. And the problem is, by the end of the day, my phone battery is so low. I need to remember to charge it right before streaming, and I never get it all charged up, and then it dies halfway through, so. Andrew says, Clara, I'm too big a cheerleader to let something like that pass, LOL. I don't know. I don't even know what it looks like on you all's side. I just sort of I just went out on a limb and I'll just enable this feature and see what happens. Rise of Art 22 says, so this time what art is it? So this is a commission I got that does in fact feature John Wick fighting Lovecraftian monsters. I ain't gonna complain. This is I was saying earlier, this is my largest commission yet. Shadow side of that. Gooey goo. Flying goo and blood are actually really fun to draw because you get all these weird shapes that are pretty organic. And if you get the line weight right, they feel really formed. I'm sure the badges are just an incentive on Instagram's part to get people to live stream more, but I don't even care. I probably will live stream more now. Rise of Art 22 says, wow, you have some amazing skills. I want to learn from you. That's what I'm here for, dude. I'm happy to help you out. Get this gooey bit. There we go. A little spatter on there is going to go a long way, too. Ken Shepherd 79. Hello, hello. You know who loves drawing blood spatter? Ryan Otley. Yes. Yes, he does. He does indeed, and I have learned much from him. We all learn from each other in this weird, tiny industry. Fortunately. Sorry, I keep hitting the phone. We get sort of the concentric rings that sort of create the path of travel for the bullet. Rise of Art 22 says, well, I need some exciting ideas for artwork like you do because need to show to George Brown College for my higher studies in Canada or US. Tell you what, drop me a DM and we'll see if we can figure out something that helps you. Oh, sirens going by outside. I saw the most beautiful light displays the other day. I'm a real, I'm just a sucker for Christmas. I love Christmas time, you guys. I'm such a nerd. But I love going to look at light displays, and I saw some really nice ones here in Sioux Falls the other day. Oh, we got 45 bought a badge too. You guys spoil me. I am super spoiled. The most spoiled person. My goodness. Well, thank you very much. I feel so special. All right, that's coming along. Trying to decide where to go from here. I don't want to overdo it, but at the same time, everything ends up being a little more done than you expect it to be, if that makes sense. Let's get some shadows for these. Some shadows on this spray here. Well, let me get these bits here. These juicy bits. Do y'all know that's the British term for pulp and orange juice? You know how you can buy your orange juice with or without pulp? And in Great Britain, the term for pulp orange juice is orange juice with juicy bits. I don't know if that's still true, but I read that's what it was. Terms like that change, but man, that made me laugh. Juicy bits. Oh, I need to do this through here. Sort of that sort of washed out, reduced way. You sort of see something through something else, through the transparency. It's not only a transparency, it's a light source. So you see it in a very limited way. So I'm trying to figure out how to show, how to communicate that. Clover says, I'm sure neurosurgeons use the term all the time. Oh, the gooey brain. I don't even remember what I said. I know what you said is funny, but now I don't even remember what you're referring to. That's how my smart person brain works. Let's see. Just got completely lost. What am I doing over here? I guess I need to start rendering this to get some of the shadows under here. So the shadows as the head turns away from the light. Also, there's going to be some light response to the huge plume of fire on his head. One thing I did have, like, again, like sort of pedantic technical issue with was how these creatures that are like 90% water are on fire. It'd be like if you see an octopus on the beach and try to light it on fire. I don't think that's going to work. But hey, it's comics. We can do whatever we want. That's the beauty of it. Rise of Art 22 says you don't need digital art skills. Your artwork is already looking like digital quality. You're an extrovert in art. Do you mean expert? I don't know. I don't know if you can be an extrovert in art. I don't know if those things are even synonymous. Well, they are. I shouldn't be too extreme. I mean, digital and traditional art can look basically the same. It's not about quality, really. People who choose to do digital art just do so for, their own reasons, whether it's speed or convenience or whatever. I do traditional art because that's where I find the pleasure comes from, the enjoyment of making something real. But like plenty of people do digital art that looks like this. And plenty of digital artists work really hard to make their work look traditional. Man, every time I try to take this shadow somewhere, I run into another light source. Leave me alone. I should probably take this all the way to the edge. I don't need that rim lighting on that part of his head. And I can say this shadow is cast like that, so that solves that problem there. I'm just going to go around the edges and then use a different tool to do this faster. Yeah, let me get a different tool real quick here. I don't like this shape. Hold on. This needs to be a little bit different. Bear with me while I get real specific here for a second. All right, and then I'm gonna have to shave that line down, but, well, maybe not. I'll let it think about what it did. See if I need to change it. Rise of Art says, well, I'm best in digital, but a little rough in traditional art. That's fine. I mean, do what works for you. I will say knowing how to do traditional art is very important to developing your, well, not even necessarily very important, very useful to developing your understanding of the medium. You learn how to you do things like, get it right the first time that you don't have to depend on in digital art because, you can always just grab and resize or, any of those easy digital fixes. But I would recommend continuing to practice with traditional art because it's a different muscle in your brain. It's new neural pathways, and those are always good for you. And you'll learn things. Your hand will learn things. Style is mostly muscle memory. You got to teach your hand things. And Rise of Art says, and we are artists, our only weakness is patience. Even I do mistakes in shadow, but I will create another sketch for the mistake to blend it. Yeah, I mean, you find ways to work around your mistakes. Goodness knows this whole thing is full of mistakes. I mean, you see me use the Posca all the time. I'm constantly whiting things out and redoing them, even when I'm not treating it as just like a white brush. Yeah, I mean, mistakes are part of the process. You don't get to a point, at least I don't think so. I don't know anyone who's gotten to this point where you don't make mistakes. You just get to a point where they're not a problem anymore. They're just as fixable as anything else. Ooh, I'm going to be able to go over anywhere the fire goes over black, like there, I'm going to be able to take the sponge and dab it over with white, and that's going to look really good. It's going to feel really hot and bright. Oh, like this. Like, here's the example, the previous example I worked on that I was doing. Like, you see how you just feel the heat off of that? So that's going to be fun to do as well. Glover says, neural pathways are not helping Gunshot Boy, but great thought. Yeah, he's not going to have much use of his neural pathways in a second here. What was I doing? What planet am I on? Oh, I was doing this. Okay. Right. Thank you. What year is it? It's hard to figure out how close to get to the dry brush because it's not like a hard line. You don't want it to absorb entirely. But again, I'm going to go back over it with the white sponge, so that'll help. That'll help clarify there. All right, and keep going around here. Thinking about how I feel about that wound. I'm going to be bumping some of that line weight, I'd imagine, but in the time we have left, we have a few minutes left before I got to get going, but I am going to work on some of this detailing here. We got a couple new people pop in. Hello. I had to decide on what I was going to do with this weird little shape here. If it was going to be like an ear or more like that little side of the head siphon octopi have, like that, you know, when cephalopods have that little like pump tube on the side of their heads. So I sort of went with an in-between option because I didn't go with official. I started to say this way earlier and never actually got around to it. I had to decide early on in this design process if I was going to do actual, you know, designated Lovecraft monsters or just sort of make things up. And I did go with just making things up based on how I wanted the composition to work. Because I already had to work the composition around the one we do know, Cthulhu, the one that actually has, you know, has to have recognizable features and form and all that. So to take some of the stress off the rest of the piece, for the other monsters, I just did like randos. Just make up something scary and squishy and fun. Trying to think here. Yeah, I'll just keep doing this. Where's my pencils? Yeah, okay. Just gonna remember if there was supposed to be solid black through here. Squish, squish. Squishy. You're welcome, Glover. You enjoyed the night too. I'm happy to be working on this as well. Shouldn't be too much longer before I get it finished. Rise of Art says, your creative thinking is beyond it, and I really need to learn from you. I mean, thank you. That's nice of you to say. Creative thinking just comes from practice. And look at art. Look at a lot of comics. Look at the kind of art you enjoy. It'll fill your head with ideas. That's what I do all the time. None of us who actually work in art just like pop ideas out of our heads. Like, I looked at so many different compositions other people before me have done to even get the first idea of how I was going to approach this piece. You know, it doesn't just happen on its own. You have to work at it. And that's fine. Anything worth doing is going to take work and be difficult. But don't think that just because I'm here on this live stream doing this commission means that it comes easily for me. It doesn't. It's work. It's hard work. Continue, feather that a bit, and feather it in here. So that's going to be black, that's going to be black. There's that. Okay, well, it is now 7, and I think we've come to a good stopping point, because I'll be pretty much just filling in the black on this guy for a while before I get to anything else. But thank you so many times, everyone, for watching, especially those of you who bought badges. That was super awesome. I did not expect that to happen at all. So you guys rock. Thanks for watching me work on this. I should have it, well, I won't estimate as to when I'll have it finished. I should have it finished soon enough, and you all will be updated on its progress as we go. Oops, I almost dropped it on the floor. So you all have a great night. I'm going to go do my grocery shopping, and I will see you all next time.